Hi everyone, I hope your work went well this week. Please do keep sending me examples of your work because I love to see it. So next week in PSHE and English, we are reflecting on the anti-racism riots that are going on at the moment. In PSHE in particular, we are thinking about the awful murder of George Floyd, and you're going to be reading a really lovely book and thinking about how difference can be celebrated. So you're going to choose some people that are in your life and you are going to make a note of some of the things that make you different from them and vice versa. And then in English, we are focusing on somebody called Martin Luther King Jr. Now, Martin Luther King Jr. lived over 60 years ago, but he fought for equality in America. And he wrote a really famous speech called I Have a Dream, which talked about all of the ways which he thought the world could be a fairer and more equal place. So your job for this week is going to be to write about your own dream, in particular what you think the world could look like in a better place. And then towards the end of the week, you're going to be writing something called an acrostic poem. And an acrostic poem is where you choose a word, so you might choose something like differences or equality. And you have to start each line of your poem with a letter from that word. So I look forward to seeing which words you choose, and I look forward to reading your poems. So in maths next week, we are starting to look at time, and we're beginning the week looking at things like how many days are in each month. Now, this is actually a really important thing to know, especially as you get older, because lots of adults get paid on the last day of every month, for example. So sometimes it's really useful to know which day the last day of the month is. So whether a month has 30 days or 31 days, for example. It's also useful if you're counting down to something that you're looking forward to, and you want to know how many days or weeks you've got left to wait. It's useful to know how many days are left in the month. So the way that I've always remembered is a rhyme that my mum taught me when I was really little. And it goes, 30 days hath September, April, June and November. All the rest have 31, except for February, which has 28, but 29 in a leap year. And I've always remembered that, and I still need to do it now, just to remember how many days. There is also quite a cool knuckle trick, which is included in the pack, which is where you put your hands into a fist and you count from January through to December. And when you land on a knuckle, that's 31 days. But when you land in between knuckles, that means it's got less than 31 days. So 30 or 28 or 29 if you're talking about February. So that's really useful at the beginning of the week. Coming through to the end of the week, we're starting to look at telling the time on an analog clock. So I've got my example analog clock here. And it's thinking about how a clock goes round in intervals of 5 minutes, okay? And the small hand, what to remember, is the hour hand. And the bigger hand is the minute hand. So if we're using the minute hand, each number is another 5 minutes, okay? So each one is 5. Then when we get to the 6, we call it half past the hour. And if it's on the 12, we say it's o'clock. So for example, this time at the moment would be 3 o'clock, okay? And this time down here, if we go this way, would be 3:30. So something that's really important to remember when telling the time is, apart from the o'clock and the half past, is that when you are going with the big hand between the 1 and the 6, we say it's past the hour, okay? So we've got 5 past, 10 past. When it's on the 3, we say quarter past, and so on. But when we get down to past the 6, we start saying to the hour. So we count the 5-minute intervals left until the next o'clock. So for example, if my big hand is on the 7, I'm counting 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes left until the next hour, which is 4 o'clock. So we say it's 25 to 4. Okay, so there are some different problems to solve to do with different intervals of time. On to some of the afternoon subjects. So we've added a music lesson this week, and it's going back to something we looked at the beginning of year 3 called Carnival of the Animals, a piece of music. And you're going to think about some of the musical instruments you can hear in there. And then after that, you're going to pick your own piece of music and you're going to create a response to that piece of music. Have a think about why it's memorable to you, what you like about it, how many of the lyrics can you remember, and all of those kinds of things. Science this week is all about the NASA mission, the rocket that was launched at the end of May. And you're actually going to do a bit of an experiment creating your own paper rockets, so straw rockets they're called, and seeing how far you can launch them, which sounds like great fun. And finally, at the end, we are asking you to record a short video message that we're going to send to the year 2s. So around this time last year was about the time we were first meeting you, although it feels like it wasn't very long ago at all. So we're just thinking about how transition this year is obviously going to be very different for them. So we would really like your help to make them feel more comfortable about coming to Bishop Wood. So we were hoping that you could send us a little video message just thinking about the things that you like about Bishop Wood or nice memories that you've had from year 3. So, which I think will be quite nice for me to see and listen to as well. Have a lovely week, and I will speak to you very soon. Bye-bye.